is Andy with the Rad Company, and welcome to Wash Wednesday. In today's video, we have Zach here, and Zach, what kind of car do we have?
We have a 2018 Carbon 65 Z06 Corvette.
All right, guys, and we are back. So this thing is beautiful, and it is it's a special version. I like that. So Z06, Carbon 65, special edition. How many of these were made?
650.
Jeez, okay.
Only about 475 in the States.
Wow, okay.
The rest went overseas.
That's exciting, dude. Well, thank you for bringing it on. We're pumped to get this thing washed. So today, we're gonna be knocking out a foam canner wash. Have you ever foamed this thing before?
I have not.
You haven't?
Not yet.
It's gonna look good.
Today's the day.
It's gonna be an awesome day. So we're gonna foam this. We're gonna obviously get the wheels cleaned up, get everything cleaned up. We're gonna be putting C2 V3 from G-Technic on here. We're gonna be washing it with a product called G-Wash, which is a wash for ceramic coatings. So we'll be putting that in the foam cannon and in the bucket as well. And so we're gonna get it all cleaned up, use some brake buster on the wheels, get the wheels all cleaned up. It's already in pretty clean shape. You keep this thing pretty clean, yeah. And so you wash it, what, once a week?
At least, yeah.
At least once a week? Oh, geez, okay, so he's on top, you're on top of it, I like it. And I did see some Rad Company stuff in his trunk, so I know that he's on the right, you're on the right path. So when you typically wash this, just to kind of give us a rundown, what are you typically doing? Are you doing it at the...
I just do a pressure wash.
Pressure wash, okay. Yeah. And then do you wipe down any soap or anything like that?
No, I just rinse it off, and then I wipe it off with the rags.
Okay, nice, okay, right on. Well, hey, that works, and it's ceramic coated too, right?
Yes.
So that obviously makes it a ton easier. So anyways, guys, we are gonna be doing some pretty cool stuff today. I'm excited. We are going to grab product and get to washing. All right, Zach, so we got the car moved into the wash bay here, and we are ready to tackle the wheels first. I know a lot of people, they're like, when are you guys gonna do the wheels? First, last, second, middle? We're gonna do them first in today's video. And so that is because they are probably the dirtiest thing on the vehicle right now. And so tell me a little bit more. So these wheels right here, are these like a special version for the Carbon 65? Are they any different than the Z06 model?
So they did come stock with the Carbon 65 package, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And then you have the TireStickers.com tire letters, right?
Yes,
so
sir. Raised rubber.
Raised rubber. Okay, so that's actually the first time, actually second time, we had an Evo on here that also had raised rubber tire stickers on there as well, and it actually cleaned up really, really good. Granted, his were a little newer. We're gonna see if we can get these things looking a little wider, a little brighter. Now, brakes, these things are massive, right? I'm guessing they release a lot of brake dust and everything.
Yes.
So we're gonna be using wheel cleaner. Have you used any wheel cleaners on here before?
No.
You haven't? Okay.
Nope.
So we're gonna be using brake buster, right, which is a very safe wheel cleaner. We're gonna be using it at 1-to-1 dilution. Sometimes you can use it full strength if you need to, but I think 1-to-1 will be perfect for our application today. We're gonna be using the IK trigger sprayer here. We do have brake buster on tap inside that machine over there, but sometimes I like pulling the trigger, right? It's more fun. You'll kind of see what I mean here in a second. So for this, we're gonna be doing a pre-rinse. We're gonna do a pre-soak with brake buster, kind of letting that start to work, and you're gonna start to see it brown the tires, right? It's called blooming. It's something that you wanna see when it comes to wheel cleaning. From there, we're gonna be taking a brush for the lugs, and then for the actual faces of the wheels, we're using towels, right? And so the reason why I wanna do that is because anything that's like a gloss black finish, I typically don't like to take my chances with a brush on those surfaces. I like to use a towel. I think it's gonna do a little bit of a better job. And I think it's gonna be a little bit safer as well. So first thing we need to do is rinse this thing. You ready?
Yes.
Are you ready? All right, we're ready. Dane, you didn't give me a reaction, so I'm just gonna assume you're ready. So I think this thing is on. It is. Perfect, so now that it's rinsed, right, now we're gonna grab our cool trigger sprayer here. So this is called the IK TR. Basically, it's a trigger sprayer, it's the multi-sprayer. They have pump sprayers that are really popular. You've probably never heard of IK, but these new trigger sprayers are really cool. They're basically a high quality, heavy duty version of a normal trigger sprayer with a really cool spray pattern. And so we really like the spray pattern on these. So what we're gonna be doing is adjusting this a little bit tighter and getting some good coverage.
Do you want to do the whole wheel then?
Yep, so we're gonna do the whole wheel and tire because this is a wheel and tire cleaner. Now, how I like to start, and this is just me personally, some people like to do things different. I like to start with the tires first, right? Tires, let the rest of the product sit on the surface, and I'll start to kind of clean that up. So what I'll do is I'll take my tire brush here, and I will load it. So I will spray product into the brush itself, and you'll start to see it kind of foam up like that, right? Now, because your ride height is nice, right? We're not gonna have to worry about hitting a fender or anything. So we're gonna be taking that and then agitating like that. But the way that this brush is sitting here, you can see that it's not hitting the lip of the wheel, right? And that's the idea when it comes to a tire brush. You don't want to be hitting the lip of the wheel, you just want to be hitting the tire.
This is way easier than what I did to clean the tire letters.
So we're doing that, going back and forth. And so if you need to add more product, you can. So we basically just load the brush up a little bit more, and then we can kind of continue on. It's doing a little bit of something. I think that the cleaner that these tire stickers come with is, I don't know if it's like an acetone, but it's strong stuff.
It is acetone.
Is it? Okay, so then this is definitely not as strong as acetone, so I will tell you that. So we'll see if it makes any difference. So from there, I'm gonna hit the face of the wheel one more time, grab my, if I can fish for it, my lug brush, which is just a Detail Factory short mini brush. Get the end lugs. Now after we've gotten that, this is a Creature Edgeless. I saw one of these in your trunk, which is perfect,
yes.
right? So I typically like to use black towels on wheels, mainly for the fact it doesn't show as much dirt, and it doesn't make me feel crappy about the condition of my towels later on when I wash them. So for this, we're just gonna be going in and getting the face and the spoke. And so while you're in there too, I typically like to get the caliper while I can. And then if you need to, like let's just say if these are really, really bad, I'll go in for another rinse and come back. So like let's just say halfway through, take my towel in there, release it. There is a grit guard below of the bucket, and then continue on. And big thing, you don't want to let your towel hit the ground, right? I'm sure you know that.
Oh, of course.
That's the rule. Second the towel hits the ground,
It's done.
yeah, you should probably be done with that towel. So we're gonna get inside there. And then when we dry these later, we will be using C2 V3 on the wheels as well. Cool. So that's pretty much done with that brush. So typically what I'll do is, or not brush, that wheel, I should say. I'll typically hit the brush really quick before putting it back in. Get that off of there. What do you think? A little bit better, right? Not bad?
Very shiny.
Not bad. And so, like I said, the tire stickers, it was gonna be either great or it was gonna be okay. I think it turned out okay. And so, I think in the future, if you have to use a stronger version, you can. But, you know, like I said, it's 1-to-1. I think if maybe we used it full strength, it might have cleaned a little bit better. Who knows? Let's move on to the rear wheel. I'm gonna let you do this one. So I'll have you do the pre-spray. Be careful with this hose, it can get away from you. It's got a mind of its own. Perfect, and you're gonna set that down, and then I'm gonna hand this fancy sprayer off to you, and you're gonna go ahead and spray down the whole wheel. See what I mean about the spray? It's it's very satisfying spray.
Mm-hmm. Is that about good?
Geez, Zach, you're using all of our brake cluster here. What do you think we are, a detailing company? I'm kidding. Okay, so now you're gonna take your brush and load the brush. So spray that into the brush, and it's gonna start to get it all nice and foamy. And now we're just gonna be scrubbing just the tires with that brush. I typically like to do short back and forth kind of motions. Okay. Yep, like that, and then work my way around the wheel. Now see how it's kind of starting to brown, how you can start to see that stuff start to lift from the tire?
Yep.
So what most people don't realize is, a dirty tire is going to prevent your favorite dressing from adhering, right? If you're doing a tire shine, if you're doing a tire dressing, anything of like that nature. And then also, if it's a dirty tire and you keep putting tire shine on it, that's the dirtier that tire gets. It'll continue to get dirtier and browner and browner and browner. And I think that having clean tires is a highly underrated thing. I think people, when they look at wheels and tires, they're like, wow, those wheels are so nice. A lot of times they're looking at how nice that tire is as well. So typically when people get a new set of wheels and tires, the reason why everything looks so good is not just because the wheels, it's because the tires are new as well. Geez, look at that browning that came off there, right? That's pretty good. So now we're gonna take the lug brush here, and you're gonna spray a little product in there, and we're gonna do the lugs. Is this a little bit more intricate than what you normally do?
Much more intricate, yeah.
But you can see it probably wanting to pay off, right?
Oh,
you
yes.
can see how it's gonna pay off. So now I'm gonna hand you this towel, and then you're gonna go through the whole wheel, and you're gonna be wiping things down with that towel. And you can tell it feels safer, right? When you're doing something like this, because you have all this lubrication, right? There's not a whole lot that can go wrong. All right, Zach, so now it is time for the main event. And by main event, I mean it's time to finally foam cannon this thing. And you said you've never put a foam can on this. Not yet, at least, right?
Not yet.
You said you just moved, you finally have a nice garage with a driveway, and you want to start getting into that, so you've got a foam cannon, you have a pressure washer, right? So, but technically we're gonna kind of pop the cherry. Can I say that on here?
Late.
Oh, I've said it. Okay, so we're just gonna basically, get you started, get you introduced to this, as well as some cool products for your car specifically, right? Some things that you can use at home that we'll make sure to send you home with today as well. So we're gonna be using G-Wash on here in the foam cannon. We're gonna be using a bucket wash as well. So grab some pads over there. So we're gonna be using the 6x8 Cyclone wash pads that you'll see here in just a second. But first, we're gonna rinse the car down like you normally would, and then we are going to foam cannon, start to let that dwell, and then begin working it in with our mitts. And so getting it clean from top to bottom. So that's kind of how we always like to work, is basically you take one half of the car, I take the other, we work from top to bottom until everything's done, and then I typically split the front and rear bumper with somebody. I say, hey, you like the rear, or you're more of a front guy? And some guys are like, I like it from the rear. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. And then before you know it, we're down this weird dark hole. So anyway, back to what I was saying, we're gonna split it, it's all gonna turn out great. So do you wanna rinse the car, or do you want me to rinse it?
I'll rinse it.
All right, I got hose duty. I like that. Takes charge. It's ready to rock and roll. So yeah, from top to bottom, get it all done. All right. So now that we have the car rinsed, now here's the big question, right? I could see it in his eyes that you like pressure washing, and that's kind of fun, but honestly, let's face it, the foam can is the most fun part. So do you want to foam can it too?
Well, why don't you show me how it's done?
Okay, I'll do one spot, right? And then I'm gonna pass on the baton to you, because I think you're gonna have a lot more fun, and I do this all the time. So inside here we have G-Wash.
Cool.
Roughly 200 milliliters inside here to about 500 milliliters of water, right? So we're at 750 total is where we're at there. So here's how we do our adjustment settings. So this is going to open our spray pattern, narrow our spray pattern. We typically want to go narrow, and this is going to adjust our foam. So we want max foam, right? We want the max amount of soap we can get. So how this works is I typically like to go from top to bottom, but I'm just going to knock out this front fender here just for reference.
Oh, wow. Pretty cool.
Right? So you're gonna have to grab some Instagram shots, right? You're like, pause, I gotta grab a couple of pictures really quick. So I got hose duty, you start foaming, dude, lay it on. So you can tell the ceramic coating is doing its job because the foam is not wanting to stick, right? Which is not a bad thing, it's a good thing. It means that you're getting more self-cleaning ability there because that foam is actually beginning to pull off contaminants.
I've definitely enjoyed the ceramic coating the whole time I've had the car.
Oh yeah. All right, Zach, so these are the 6x8 Cyclone wash pads. And what do you typically use for your wash mitt? Do you use any wash mitt at all?
I don't have a wash mitt.
Somebody get this guy some wash mitts. Jimmy, wash mitts immediately. Get him a case. All right, I'm kidding. You don't need that many. But I really like these. Extremely safe, 70-30 blend. Really high pile, so you know it's not going to scratch or anything like that. So inside here we have G-Wash back in the bucket. It's gonna get a little wet. All right, my socks are wet. My day is ruined. So we're gonna be taking this and we're gonna be working from top to bottom. So I typically like to work in straight lines. Holy crap, that's slick. That feels great. Going straight lines, and then flip the pad as needed. We'll be going through and getting everything cleaned up. And so top to bottom is typically how I like to work. These louvers are gonna be the biggest pain, but I think it'll be fine. Holy foam. Jimmy, are you getting this? This is quite, maybe we didn't need to use the whole thing, right? I don't regret doing it, but it's definitely pretty wet.
So then do you dunk it again after?
Yep, and then after a little bit, we'll just dunk it, yeah. And then go back in, and there's a grit guard at the bottom of that, so it'll basically be releasing all the contaminants below the grit guard in the bucket. But I think it's time to start talking about this thing, man. We've already gotten, I feel like we've already gotten so far into this video, but we haven't even talked about the car. So tell me about the Carbon 65 Vette. How did you get it? Why did you want it? You know, how long have you had it? Kind of give us a run through.
So Carbon 65 is Corvette's 65th anniversary edition Corvette.
Okay.
They only made 650 of them. And it was kind of the perfect fit for me. So the car I had before this was a 2018 Super Sport Camaro.
Okay.
And while it was a fun car with a lot of power, I always thought that I could have aimed a little higher than that.
Gotcha.
So I was piecing together the perfect Corvette on Chevy's website. And when I went to hit the find a dealer near you, this exact Vette was actually sitting in the showroom out in Nampa.
Which for people that don't realize that are near the Boise area, that is not a common thing for us to have a cool car like that sitting in a showroom.
So for context, this is the only Z06 Carbon 65 in the entire Northwest.
Wow.
So to find that car, you know, 10 miles away from where you live, sitting in the showroom was pretty special.
Okay.
And I took my Super Sport Camaro over to the dealership and traded it in that day.
Wow.
That
Crazy. So
wrote.
you must have been stoked then. I mean, right? Bringing this home, I probably would have felt like a small dream.
It was.
That's crazy. So basically, you've had it then for since 2020. So you've had it for 2 years, right?
March of 2018 is when I bought it.
Okay. Okay. And so since then, right? So you've had it ceramic coated. You've kind of done that. Any other performance stuff that you've done to it?
Performance, not so much. I have put a Corsa exhaust on it. Okay. And that was just one of my good friends recommended that if I'm going to put an exhaust on there, everyone goes Borla, but he thought that the Corsa sounded best with the LS motors. So
nice. And it does sound extremely good. And you've taken this out to quite a few different places. So you told us that you went to close to Mexico?
Yes, right up to the border. I did not take this into Mexico because I value the car.
Yeah. You're like, Tijuana is just not a safe place for these things. So you took it to Mexico. You also said you took it to Canada as well?
I did. So I went on a cruise last year and I drove up to Vancouver where a couple of my friends live. Yeah. And I parked this at their house while we went on a week-long cruise up to Alaska.
Wow, that's crazy. And so during that time, spending all of that time with the car on the road, what were your thoughts? Were you just loving every second of it?
Absolutely, just loving it.
Pretty comfortable to kind of do a tour like that in?
I think it is.
Okay,
so I think
maybe to some other people it may not be that way.
I would say that if you're a little bit bigger, those seats do hug you.
Gotcha, yeah. Well, and so do you have plans? Because I know you kind of said that you want to stay kind of true to having the anniversary edition, right, and keeping things relatively OEM. Is there anything that you have planned or you want to do? More power in the future, more visual mods?
No, I don't think I'm going to do anything performance related on it. I think I'm going to keep it pretty much the way it is. So I have taken it to the drag strip. I did 11.4 seconds at 125 miles an hour.
Wow, okay.
Which is,
yeah.
I'm happy with that stock.
Yeah, yep, it's not bad. I'm sure couple small tweaks, 10 seconds, right?
Oh, yes.
No doubt. And so you've done that, and then, visually, right, because you've added the louvers, you've done some other carbon goods on here. I feel like it's
I put the vertical doors on there.
Oh yeah, you guys will have to see those here in a little bit. They're pretty wicked. And so, but visually, what else do people typically do to the C7 generation of Corvettes?
Typically, the C7 Corvette generation doesn't do anything to their Corvettes because they're all 60 years old and...
Well, they're spending more money on their New Balances is what they're doing, right? They're like, we need more cargo shorts. Oh, dang it. I'm wearing cargo shorts today, so I guess I can't say that, but yeah. More Tommy Bahama wear. But yeah, I guess that's true. A lot of guys, they do not do a ton of visual mods, right? Because they want to keep it kind of true to the roots. Even the people that just have the Stingrays, they're like, let's keep it how it is.
So some mods that I had considered but haven't done, I really like the big carbon fiber wing on the ZR1.
Okay, yeah, that's a good looking wing, yeah.
But I haven't done that. I really like the Lamborghini taillights, which those are kind of neat.
Okay.
But a lot of these upgrades, and why I stopped doing upgrades like that, was because these are all $2,500, $3,000 parts, and it's already cheap. Got a $2,500, $3,000 part on it. And
yeah,
I don't want a bunch of extra parts just sitting in my garage.
Especially worth that much money, right? It's like, so you kind of have to definitely hone everything in and make sure that every part counts. But dude, I think we've got everything pretty much washed down. So I'm gonna rinse it really quick.
Okay.
And then once we rinse it, we are going to pull it out, and then we're gonna dry it down, and then we're gonna get it retouched up with some C2V3. All right, Zach, so we got the car all cleaned up, yet it is still a little wet, right? I'd say it's kind of damp, a couple beads here and there. So we were gonna bust out some drying towels, but then I thought about it, I said, you know, it's not that wet, right? I don't think it's to the point where we need drying towels, and we're gonna be putting a topper on there anyway. So I figured this is a good time to use the FTWs, which are a dense piled twist loop weave, meaning they're extremely absorbent, but they work great for spot cleaning. They work great for applications like C2V3. So G-Technic C2V3 liquid crystal, it's a mouthful, is basically a ceramic topper, or it can be a sealant on its own depending on how you like to use it. So for ceramic coating, it's great because basically it'll refill any holes that the ceramic coating may have, right? Kind of getting back to being level again at a microscopic level, and then also improving the water behavior and gloss and all the stuff that you would want from a ceramic topper. So for this, it's pretty simple. We don't need a lot of this product, a couple sprays. So I'm gonna use this rear fender here as an example. So on this rear fender, we have just a little bit of water, right? So I'm gonna go 1, 2, and I'm going to spray a couple sprays into my towel. And from there, I'm going to put the towel onto the area that I sprayed and begin drying it in. Now, right off the bat, you're gonna notice that it's going to feel slick. It's going to feel extremely slick. And the second you flip over the towel, you're gonna be like, wow, that's buttery smooth. And so what you do is you keep up this application throughout the entire car. So we're gonna be doing that, basically getting the towel slightly damp with the product and then drying it in. So I'll have you try it here on the top of your trunk lid. So 1, 2, and then I'll spray your towel. 1, 2, put it on the area that you applied it, and then just begin spreading it in. And then once you go for the towel flip, you'll kind of see what I mean. It becomes a lot smoother.
Oh, wow.
See, right? It's a lot slicker. And so that's kind of the process. So we're gonna be doing that through the entire car, getting it all shined up, getting it all cleaned up, adding more protection and more gloss. Sound good?
Very good.
Cool, so I have you knock out this door. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Yeah, this stuff's pretty awesome. It'll definitely improve the water behavior, even though it's already good. It'll continue to make it better. All right, Zach, so now it's time for the wheels. We got the car all cleaned up with C2V3. We're doing the same thing on the wheels here. So on the wheels, we cleaned them, so we know that they are clean. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a couple sprays of C2V3 just on the faces, and then a couple sprays into the towel. Then from there, we are just literally drying it in. I think the wheels are coated as well, right?
Yes.
That makes them very easy to clean. So going through, drying in any excess water that we had from when we rinsed it off, and these things will get all nice and cleaned up. And honestly, I think the tires are looking pretty good, so I don't think we need to apply a dressing today. Maybe we can do that before we go and take some rollers, but overall, I think they look pretty good. And the other thing too is with certain dressings, right? If I were to put a dressing, and let's just say this tire wasn't perfectly clean, that dirt could go over those raised letters, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, and that is a wrap. So Zach, what do you think, man?
Oh, she's pretty.
She's looking good. I think she's looking really, really glossy. So I have to ask, what was your favorite part of the whole process? Like, what was your favorite product or process that we used to get this thing cleaned up?
Probably cleaning the wheels.
Okay.
Because that was something that I did not do at all, really. I would just do a pressure washer and kept them looking pretty good, but not like
like this, right? Yeah. And so I think that it's a little bit more work, right? I think wheel cleaning, everybody has their own way of doing their own methods, but I think it's a pretty straightforward method is what we went with today. Made it pretty simple. Basically, you're looking at a couple brushes, you're looking at a spray cleaner, a couple towels, and then some extra water to have. And so got them cleaned up really good. And I think that overall though, man, I don't think this car needs anything. I think just drive it, because, you know, looking at it and spending the time kind of learning the curves on it, it's a very intricate car. There's a lot of little recesses and all sorts of area.
Oh, yeah.
You definitely have to get that water out. So we did use a blower off camera to get a lot of this excess water out from here, because I could find that it pools in certain areas, like you said, right? And then like he explained, you go to start driving and then the water comes out and you're like, what the hell, I thought I got this. So right on, man. Well, hey, so a couple questions then for you. If anybody wants to find more photos of this Vette or see more about this, where would they be able to go?
At Carbon Vette.
At Carbon Vette,
on Instagram.
Cool. Yep. All right. So, all right, Zach. Well, thanks again, man, for bringing this awesome car on the show. Everybody, stick around for some after shots. So we'll have some pretty cool stuff. So as always, if you guys like this video, make sure you give us a big thumbs up, subscribe down below for more, and stay tuned for more Wash Wednesdays right here at the Ragnar.